Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate you having this hearing. This is a very important topic and very timely. You know, artificial intelligence is a topic that spans every jurisdiction of every committee that we have, and it's something that we need to get in front of, not behind. I think we're still away from C-3PO chairing any of these committees. But in the view of a lot of people out there, they're concerned.
Thank goodness, Mr. Loudermilk, that's still the case.
I opened a can of worms there, didn't I? But seriously, Mr. Cloaker, over the course of 2023, I understand there were many competing AI frameworks that agencies could have followed. Here in the House, we have a very complicated ecosystem, and we're in a situation where everyone is better off when we all row in the same direction instead of proverbially rowing in different directions and ended up going in circles, which in fact we're very good at, in Congress. What framework did the CAO decide to use?
Mr. Loudermilk, I'm glad you recognize this is a very difficult environment sometimes. We are using the NIST framework for AI. We think it's a good framework. It's very thoughtful. It is general, and we're going to tailor it for the challenging environment here in the House of Representatives. When we do that, we're going to be working with this committee. We're going to be working with the Sergeant at Arms. We're going to work with the clerk and the other officers of the House, because they all use the same. When we adopt cyber policies for the House, we send it to the committee approves them, and all the officers and institutional offices follow them.
Okay. I may have missed it, but did you say which framework that you are?
It's NIST. We'll be using the NIST.
The NIST. Okay.
We'll use NIST. We'll tailor it for our environment. We
Right.
just don't take it. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that the same framework? And you may be addressing this in your comment. So your intention is all House agencies to use that same framework then?
It is, yes. So for example, when we adopt the framework and the committee approves it, it's a decision-making framework. It's how you evaluate risk. And so the Sergeant at Arms will use it, and at the end of the day, the Sergeant at Arms will make the risk assessment with the available facts the framework produces.
Oh, great. We're going to end up having RoboCops too, right? So, boy, what Hollywood has done in this environment. Can you walk us through which function of the framework you've actually focused on first?
Our primary interest right now is governance, right? Giving the governance right, building that basic foundation of the policies. We are also focusing on mapping the existing functions of the House, understanding where AI is being used or considered being used in the House today, and that's the use case inventory that's been developed so far. And we're going to use that use case inventory to understand how people intend to use these tools so we can implement this framework correctly to understand where the risk really is, whether it's using these tools with financial data, using these tools with procurement data or constituent data at the right time.
And so have you reached out to other House offices to make sure that we are going in the same direction, that everyone is prepared to adopt these policies, the framework that you're leading on?
It's an ongoing conversation. We have certainly talked to the clerk. We've certainly talked to legislative counsel. We've talked to over 200 staffers and member committee and leadership offices to understand how are they using those tools. Those conversations need to continue. I think we'll have a draft policy to the committee probably in 2 or 3 months, and
okay.
We would expect additional back and forth as we develop the final policy.
So coming from an IT background, one thing about AI is its output is only as good as the data that is used in the input. Is there any consideration of clarifying or making sure that everything that we use it for is coming from a good data set?
I think that's one of the most important elements to the use of AI, and that answer to that's going to be different depending on the data set. Okay. And I think we envision a future state where you'll have AI tools in your office that will work on your data. So it's your data, right? Today, the tools we've been testing so far it's the entire internet, right?
Okay.
And we know there's bias. We know that's
Yes.
probably not where we want to be long-term.
Surprising, there's bias on the internet.
Yes,
I thought
exactly.
everything there was true. Well, one thing, if you could use AI to figure out how to get the escalators in Rayburn to work, that would be an awesome achievement. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
The gentleman